Riley Frain from the Porter Report here with another head coach showcase. And today I'm joined by Hofstra head coach Speedy Claxton. Coach Claxton, thank you so much for coming on and giving us a bit of your time today. How you doing?
No problem. Thanks for having me. I'm doing great.
All right. So now before we get into some transfer portal talk and this offseason, I kind of wanted to touch on some of the accomplishments from your first 2 years in charge at Hofstra. You finished 21-11 in year one with a nationally ranked upset over Arkansas and, a couple more incredible battles and only improved heading into year two, finishing 25-10, while going all the way to the semifinals of the CAA championship and then finding even more success at the NIT last year. So, with all that, coach, what do you personally think has gone right for you in these first couple seasons as head coach? And maybe, just talk a little bit about the impact of last season, on the future of your program.
Yeah, I think it all starts with me having a great staff that works with me. They're tremendous. They all do a great job of evaluating, recruiting, um, and then developing our players. I think that's why we've been so successful these last 2 years. It's crazy because the job has changed so much and the landscape has changed so much since when I first took over the job to now, and um, it definitely helps. It makes my job easier when I have a good staff.
All right. So following that, I'm curious, coach, there's been a ton of growth and development from, the CAA as a whole over the past couple seasons between your program, Charleston, Towson, UNC Wilmington, Delaware, and even a lot more, just around the conference, finding a lot of individual success. So I want to ask, how does all this growth and development really affect your program? And what are some of the benefits of the conference really, just getting stronger as a whole?
Yeah, it's a really good conference. Uh, I think people undervalue it. We have some really good teams, like you said. Starting with us, Charleston had a great year. They have a great coach in Pat Kelsey. Pat Scary's doing a terrific job at Towson. They had a great year this past season. Sakeo over down at UNCW. He's taking that program back to how it was when Coach Keats was there. So he's doing a terrific job. Martin over at Delaware, like you said, he's doing a phenomenal job. Seems like he's in a tough spot because it seems like he loses some really good players every year that he's been there. Which is that's hard to be stable and be a great team, but he's done a terrific job. Of just weathering the storm, but the CAA as a whole, I think, is a really good conference, man. Like I said, we produce really good players, and we've had NBA players the last couple of years.
Mhm. All right, so moving right along into this offseason, I wanted to dive into discussing, some of your recent acquisitions, but it's certainly been a busy offseason for, you and your staff. And the first guy I want to talk about is, New York native Miles Wilmoth, who you bought home from this offseason from Butler. And I think why Wilmot sticks out to me is because, you're a coach who's found some success in picking underrated guys from the Power Five level and really helping them unlock, their abilities under your leadership. Obviously, I think Aaron Estrada comes to mind, but, D-Stone Dubar, who's also on the roster, both really being strong examples. So I want to know, what was your recruitment process like with Miles, and why was, he the right guy to add to your program this offseason, coach?
Yeah, we found out about Miles real early in the portal process. He's a local guy. He's a matchup nightmare. He causes mismatch problems because he's so versatile. He could take smaller guards inside and take bigger guys outside. So he's definitely somebody we wanted. He's different than guys that we've had here in the past. Like we never really had a guy that's 6'9" that can kind of go inside and out. So we're looking forward to developing him and seeing what he can bring to the table.
All right. So next up, you added a pair of international big men, with Dutchman Jocko Fritz moving to Long Island from Buffalo, from Canisius in Buffalo, and Dublin native Silas Sunday moving to Hofstra, after a season spent under Rick Pitino at Iona. And so while I think both are kind of, opposite ends of the spectrum eligibility wise, I'd have to imagine, they'll play similar roles for your team on the court. But can you maybe touch on, what excites you and the staff most about each of their additions specifically?
Yeah, we're definitely excited about both of them, and they're different, and that's what I like about them. with Yako, we could have him kind of play more on the perimeter, and he has a very high IQ. Could pass the ball, he could shoot the three ball, so he'll cause some matchup problems for opposing teams, hopefully. And then Sal is being so big and girthy. He's a low post scorer. He's a load to handle down low. So I think we kind of stumbled upon that last season when we had Warren and Nelson, and they were so opposite, so we could play two different ways depending on who was in the game. So we kind of liked that, and we kind of tried to mimic that, for this year.
So you mentioned, two names there, Warren and Nelson. So I think, unfortunately, we got to talk about some of that inevitable offseason roster turnover. And while you've gained some valuable additions, you lost a couple seniors and had a few players hit the transfer portal. So first, I want to ask, obviously most notably of that group was probably Aaron Estrada, but, what was it like having the opportunity to coach such an outstanding coach in Estrada, a two-time CAA Player of the Year? But even further than that, with so much roster turnover from season to season in college basketball, what have been some of the challenges of trying to instill your culture in the locker room over the past two seasons?
It's tough, but ultimately the team is going to take on your personality. I think with the ever changing landscape that we have going right now, that not just myself, but pretty much everybody's in the same boat, and you're going to have a new team every year because the transfer rate is just so high, and these kids just jumping ship. But I think everybody is in the same boat. So I really can't cry about it, but it was a tremendous honor and great experience coaching Aaron Stoddard for the last 2 years. Being a new head coach, he definitely made my job a lot easier when you have a special talent like that, and you kind of just give him the ball and he could create a play for himself or for others. So I'm definitely gonna miss him, but we wish him the best of luck, man. He was a tremendous player for us.
Of course. So, Coach Claxton, thank you so much, again, for hopping on the show this morning. I just want to round it out here with one last question. So, obviously, you're a guy who's been involved with Hofstra athletics for a long time now. You're a Hempstead native. You played on the team from 1996 to 2000, and have really spent your whole coaching career, on the sidelines at the Max Sports Complex. So, I think with a lot of excitement surrounding the development of Hofstra basketball over the past few seasons, what's your message to the Hofstra fans and community ahead of the 2023-24 season, Coach?
Yeah, no, don't wait too late to jump on the bandwagon. We're here building something special, and if you've seen us play the last 2 years, you know what kind of excitement that we bring to the table. So don't wait too long, man. Come out and check us out. We have a fun, exciting team.
Yeah. All right. You heard it here first. Lots to check out at Hofstra University next season. Coach, thank you again for joining us.
No problem.